Okay, we start off with Issa and his friends busy talking about how disappointed they are in themselves and shit, cause the school that they were in was previously a bitches only school, right? So they thought they would take advantage of the boy to girl ratio, but unfortunately that did not work in their favor. Then, after his friends give him major cog blockage and he gets blamed for the entire thing, he sees the main girl of the series, Ria's bad, bitch ain't departed right now, okay? Anyways, after school on his way home, he gets approached by a random girl that he's never seen before and she asks him out. And first, even though it was my first time watching this, I should have known that they should have sent out red flags, right? Because dude, he is the horniest guy on the planet. You think that a guy like him would be a bit suspicious about this, but no, desperation is a bitch, isn't it? Anyways, he agrees and the next day he flexes his new girlfriend to his friends and they envy him. Then after that she asks him out on a date and again, red flag my guy, red flag. So on the day of the date while he's waiting for oh yeah, I never gave her a name. Alright, I'ma call her Sunset Bitch. That's an appropriate name, right? Yeah. Anyways, a random chick approaches Issei and hands him a flyer. Then Sunset Bitch arrives and they go on their date and shit. Then after a while, Sunset Bitch asks him would he die for her, to which he replies, the fuck's this bitch talking about? Then after that she turns into a fallen angel and nukes this guy in the gut. Then she tells him that it's not his fault or anything. If anything, he should blame the one that chose him. And in my head I'm like, bitch, how the hell is he supposed to know who chose him? He's an ordinary horny guy, for fuck's sake. So anyways, while he's on the ground dying, the last thing that he thinks about is tits, more specifically Ria's tits. So he makes the wish to see his head tits one last time, and before he dies, a fucking magical circle appears out of fucking nowhere and none other than the main girl pops up and she tells him that he ain't gonna die because he's gonna simp for her now. Then widescreen and he's now in his room with no injuries. Then he decides to tell himself that the entire shit that happened yesterday was just a dream, which is pretty dumb in my opinion, but So he goes to school and when he gets there, both of his friends can't remember Sunset Bitch at all. Then he checks his phone quickly, then sees that her numbers have been erased. Then after that, the boys invite Issei to watch some porn and shit. Then one of them decides to switch off the light, but then Issei can still see normally in the dark, then decides to fuck off and basically has a Spider-Man, what the fuck is happening to me type thing. Then he goes to the park where he was killed and then this guy in a fucking fedora asks him where's his master and shit. Then the usual questions that anybody would ask anyone. Then after that he says there won't be a problem if I were to be killed here. Then after that he gets nuked again in the gut, but then after that Riaz and her crew arrives and that fallen angel guy is all like, red hair, oh yeah, that bitch. Then she's like, yeah, now fuck off, simp. And then he's like, yes, queen. Then after that, Issei falls unconscious again and wakes up in his room again. But now this time, Issei is in his bed and his mom is coming up to the room. Then they have this scene.
For bedtime.
Good morning, how are you today?
I'm fine. Issei, you're late. And naked.
Then after that they go to school and basically she tells him that she'll send someone to pick him up and explain the entire thing that's going on or the shit that's going on in this show basically. So then after some time he hears girls screaming at the top of their fucking lungs because the fucking wonder boy of the school keeper was the one who sent over shit. Then he takes him to the old school building where he sees Riaz and the rest of the occult research club, and then they give him basic logic and rules over this stuff. So basically he's now a devil and shit, which means church bad, cross bad, anyone who's related to the church bad. And also fallen angels is basically the same thing. So yeah, Then the next day on his way to school, he meets the second best girl of the show, Asia, who is basically a nun and shit. And after he sees her healing a kid with magic and they walk down the road, then Issei looks at her cross and basically has a internal screaming moment. Then she still doesn't know that he's a devil and shit, so then she basically tells him to visit the church anytime, to which he replies yes, but actually no. Then after that, Rias basically shouts at him for, talking to the enemy and that he shouldn't do that stuff again. So then after that, they basically tell him that Konoko's fully booked, for her devil jobs and stuff. So then they need Issei to fill her place and shit. Then that night he goes to the home or whatever and finds a fucking dead body, and after that he finds the stupid ass boy Fried, who basically tells him that he fell into a trap and shit, so that he now can't escape and shit because he wants to bust a cap in his ass. And he tries to fight, but just as this Dick Fried wanted to, he shot him in the legs and shit. Then all of a sudden Asia pops out of fucking nowhere, and then she finds out that he's a devil. Wow, big reveal. Then out of nowhere, Rias and the gang jump out of a magic circle to come and help. Then Fried starts raging at Asia for not putting up a proper barrier and shit. Then Konoko carries Issei, and I believe most people should be aware of this, but a lolly carried up Issei. You should think about that for a second. Then after that they teleport away. Then after that Issei gets pissed off for not being able to take Asia with him and shit. Then the next day on his way home he meets up with none other than Asia and shit. Then they hang out for a while. Then after some backstory shit for Asia, Sunset Bitch decides to make an entrance, and then she beats the hell out of Issei and fucking kidnaps Asia to take care of Sacred Gear, which will essentially kill her. Then Rias slaps Issei for, chilling with Asia again and shit. Then he wants to go to the church where the shit's going down, but bitch doesn't want him to. Then Akeno and Rias decide to fuck off somewhere, and the moment they close the door, he's like, hey yo, I'm gonna go there real quick. And then Kiba and Akeno are like, relax my guy, we got you. Then after that they go to the church where Asia is, and the moment they arrive they meet up with stupid ass boy Fried, and then they fight, but then this time Issei gets the jump on him and literally punches him through a fucking window. Then they get to the basement and see Asia, but it's too late, and Issei gets to Asia, who is basically slowly dying at this point. Then fucking Rainier wears the fucking rings, which were Asia's sacred gear, because sacred gears come in object form just like Issei's gauntlet and shit. Anyways, she starts dissing Issei on how dumb he is and shit, and then he starts fighting her, but he is greatly outmatched. Then she stabs him in his legs, and any normal person would be able to see that he should not be standing right now. Then he starts saying some shit on how God ain't gonna help him and shit. So then he's basically all like, hey yo Lucifer, come and help your boy once so they can beat the fuck out of this hole. Then after that he musters up the courage and beats the fuck out of this bitch, and while she's begging for mercy, Rias pops out of fucking nowhere saying, bitch, you underestimated Issei greatly. So you thought that the sacred gear that he possessed was one that just doubles his strength only once, but it actually doubles his abilities every 10 seconds. So yeah, she's fucked. Then just before Rias is about to send this bitch to the fucking shadow realm, she makes a last ditch effort by turning into the form that she used when Issei first saw her and shit. But Issei, being how he is and being as pissed off as hell, basically just tells her to shut the fuck up and enters Sigma Mill. Then Rias nukes her ass. Then Issei begs Riaz to revive Asya and shit, and she does exactly that. Then at the end of the episode, we find out that Asya is moving in with her Issei and shit. And I guess this ain't really important, but I'ma just say that Riaz is also going to move in with Issei at the end of the show. But like, it's not important, guys. It's not important. Okay, so now I'm gonna skip an episode cause I feel it's irrelevant to the main story of the show. But anyways, we see our boy having the dream that he always wanted. Then he gets cock-blocked by Dreg, who's basically the sacred gear in itself. And he basically tells Issei that he looks forward to working with him and partners and shit. You know, good stuff. Then a couple of seconds later, we see Riaz suddenly coming out of nowhere from a fucking magic circle while basically saying,
I want you to fuck me, Jerry! Fuck me!
Then he gets cock-blocked by Grafia, who then disses Issei and shit. Then Riaz comes along and gives our boy even more fucking confusion by literally saying, forget this ever happened. I'm pretty sure nobody would ever forget the situation, but yeah. So the next day at the club, Issei arrives and they are introduced to Raiza, who is basically the main dickhead of the season and Riaz's fiance, mainly because of the whole forced engagement type beat. Then again, like most people, he disses Issei, but then this time he flexes on Issei by showing off his harem, then sends a lolly to take care of Issei's little ass and nukes him in the stomach. Then they are now basically going to have a fight, which also means training arc. Yay! Then on the day of the fight, they all go out in groups and shit. Then Issei's first fight is with the lollies with chainsaws and stuff. Then while fighting, he uses what I believe is his greatest, if not most effective move of all time for the first time, which is dress break. So essentially, dress break is when Issei touches any part of the female body, then to which all pieces of clothing blow off, hence the name dress break, right? So then moving on, both sides are pretty much at 50-50 until this bitch decides to cheat, and I don't give a fuck if it's in the rules or not, okay? Bitch cheated. Then Riaz decides to go to the enemy's base because she thought that Raiza would not expect that type of move, but as it turns out, she did expect it, and now they are having a fight on top of the building. Then Issei runs to the top of the building to fight Raiza on a 1v1, but then just as he's about to gun for him, he starts bleeding out, and then Dreg basically tells him that he's gone beyond his limit and shit, which is why he's bleeding out. Then dickhead Raiza uses this as a fucking opportunity and hits Issei while he's down. Then Riaz grabs Issei and he goes unconscious like that. He doesn't know anything. She fucks off. Then to talk to Dreg. Then we see the party and shit, and then Issei comes out of nowhere basically saying,
What's good, nigga?
And then Raiza starts bitching like, Ayo, says X, the fuck's this? The fuck's this? This entertainment, my guy. Then after that, basically that's it, guys. I really enjoyed making this thing, even though I made the video from like 2 days before now, just so that I could prepare for this one as a filler, cause I haven't uploaded in a while, I guess. So yeah, I'm gonna go full out on this. From now on, I'm gonna start making more videos, more content, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the shit that's gonna come out soon. So yeah, peace.